A consumer alert over the growing threat of hackers stealing credit and debit card information from retailers. Target, of course, became the most visible example over the Christmas shopping season. The company learned hackers accessed data in mid-December. About 40 million Target credit and debit cards were compromised. The data included customer names, addresses, and phone numbers. Neiman Marcus, also a victim of hackers. The retailer learned malicious software got into its system for part of last year, and that affected over 1 million customer payment cards. About 2,400 of the cards were then used fraudulently. Joining us now, Teresa Payton, who was the Chief Information Officer for the Bush administration. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. So last week, the FBI reportedly sent retailers a 3-page report warning of so-called memory parsing malware, which infects the store checkout registers at the so-called point of sale, or POS. The confidential FBI warning reportedly said, quote, "We believe POS malware crime will continue to grow. The accessibility and affordability of the software and the huge profits to be made make this cybercrime attractive to a wide range of actors." So what can retailers do?
Well, you're absolutely right. This warning was a great warning that needed to come out. And what retailers can do is actually change the conversation. What they need to realize is we're going to be hacked. People know that there's an unprecedented amount of data being stored at the retailers, and that's a very attractive target for cyber criminals. So we need to change the discussion and talk about how much data are we going to store, how long, and how do we protect it when we know we're going to be hacked.
Well, the FBI warning specifically mentions that the criminals have special software to detect and thwart these corporate security measures that all these retailers are putting into place. So there's only so much the retailer can do. So putting the retailer aside, what can the consumer do to protect our own information?
Well, there are some things that consumers can do, and they're actually non-techy. You know, one of the things that a consumer can do is get a separate email address that they hand out to the retailers. And so in the event that the retailer's information is hacked, because they're not just after credit cards anymore, they're also after your email addresses, your payment history, your shopping transactions. And that way, if that email address is compromised, they can't take over your bank account and your social media accounts. So that's step number one. Get that separate email address.
Okay, well, that's good advice. There were 20 hacking cases last year, similar to the high-profile Target and Neiman Marcus ones. But as you mentioned, the retail stores, they save now a lot of information about your purchasing history, and they analyze it so that they can decide what coupons to send you. You know, sometimes they're doing it for positive reasons, but how specifically can a customer, you're saying we have to take control and, have a conversation with the retailer, but, I mean, realistically, how does an individual stop a store from profiling them?
Well, and you're right about this, because as a matter of fact, Target hired scientists to help them guess different lifestyle changes and behaviors. In one particular case, they asked the scientists, can we predict a woman's pregnant before she tells us? And they did. And they sent coupons to a young woman's home before her family knew she was pregnant. So there's a couple different things you can do to protect yourself from, and again, that's that happy balance about, well, I want value-added services, I want coupons, but at the same time, I want a little bit of privacy too. So there's that separate email address. The other thing is you can think about cash transactions, and you don't always have to give your zip code and telephone number when they ask for it at the point of sale. And so those can be different ways to separate those different buying behaviors and transactions.
Yeah, it's ironic. You're saying go back to using cash. Credit cards were considered safer than walking around with cash in your pocket. And also, people were avoiding the internet thinking, some people felt it was safer to go to a store. But these hacking incidents happened at actual physical stores. So is the internet safer or cash safer? What's the safest way to shop?
I think the thing, again, we have to walk away with is cyber criminals go where the action is. And so if they think that people are going to be in the stores, especially at the holidays, that's where they're going to go. If they think sort of in non-holiday periods, the action's going to be on the internet, that's where they'll be as well. And so, you don't want to give up the convenience of shopping. We want everybody to be able to feel like they don't have to look over their shoulder every time they make a purchase. And so that's where just taking precautions, asking questions, having these separate email addresses and monitoring them. So for example, if you have an email address that you only gave to your bank and suddenly you're getting spam, that's a great indication that email address has been compromised and you need to throw it away and you need to get a new one. And then some other things that you can be thinking about as well is those free credit reports and filing for those.
Yeah. All right. Teresa Payton, thank you so much.